Hmm. Okay. I saw this video the other day and I wanted to react to it because there's a lot to unpack there. As you can see with the little caption says this marriage was over before the cake was cut. Let's see what that means. Let's watch it again. Wow. Okay. So, hmm. You see a couple, obviously, they are at their reception at their wedding. She looks great. He looks great. It looks like a beautiful wedding. Looks like pretty pricey too. They have a good amount of guests there. You can see they have a cameraman. They even have a dog there. So, it's one of those venues that allow pets, so it has to be pretty pricey, maybe. Either way, it's gorgeous. And I see this often with modern day couples where they prioritize the wedding over the marriage, right? Honestly, if I had to be 100% real with you, I don't think this marriage will last. I mean, if he's willing to display that type of reaction in front of everybody, it definitely was going to be over long ago. But it could be a reaction from the fact that it looks like she was nagging him right before that. Now, I'm not saying he was right for the reaction, but I am saying that they are both wrong. They're both obviously wrong. And let me tell you why. You can see in the beginning right here, and y'all have to understand female nature and the subtleties that women will display, and you won't even really know it if you don't pay enough attention, or if your ego is too big or your pride is too big to see what's right in front of you, you'll miss it. Okay. As they're putting the powder on the cake, you can tell that she's the one putting the powder on the cake, enjoying herself and sort of creating an aesthetic or an ambiance of having fun and making sure that the image is aesthetically pleasing for the audience, for the cameras, for the type of event that it is. And you can tell that he's trying to get in there and do it with her. Um, so I can see that there's probably a dynamic of control here. I don't know who the controlling one is, but as you can see from the chastising that went on right then, it seems like somebody's tired of it. Now, that's not how you respond to something like that, obviously, but that is something that should have been worked out in premarital or long before they even decided to make things official. And with things like that, you have to be really careful because that can turn into a situation later on where down the line you're married and now you're continuing to do the things that you've been doing in the relationship, but now you're closer to each other. Now you're seeing each other every day, and now unfortunately, there's more expectation now on both sides. So her expectation is that, he'll do things in the way that she envisioned them to be. His expectation is that she will respect him. Obviously, both of those expectations are not being met, which is why you see that discourse taking place. You can see some of the shock on the people's faces, but you can also kind of see what just happened. Like, you can see that some of the guests are also a little confused. You can kind of tell by the woo that went on later on there. So I say all this to say, when you are picking your person to spend the rest of your life with, make sure that you work out the kinks before diving into this stage, because many people will say, well, it's the finger in the cake. She doesn't like that. She probably wants him to cut it with her and then taste it together. Sure, that's fine. But You also have to understand she's chastising him in front of everybody. And no, people may not be able to see that, but this camera angle caught it. Look, as soon as he tried it, she's chastising him like a child. He obviously doesn't like that. So he's reacting off of it. And my guess is this is not the first, second, or third time this has happened. And he's probably thinking, had a quick reaction, and no, he was still wrong for the reaction. But he's probably thinking, man, we're at our wedding. It's supposed to be the greatest day of our lives. And you're literally making this about what you deem is aesthetically pleasing to the audience instead of just allowing things to be what it is, allowing this wedding to uniquely be ours. Because all he did was taste it. I mean, come on. All he did was taste it. There might have been an expectation that they will cut the cake together and taste it together. But at the end of the day, what he did was not wrong, guys. And we have to understand that, yes, he was wrong for his reaction. Absolutely 100%. But we have to understand the subtleties, like I said before, in which women do things too. Because you can see the method of control that she is using, which is to basically make him think that what he's doing is wrong and that he should be doing it in the way in which that she wants, not in the way that they want. Because I'm sure he didn't do it to be mean. And I mean the finger in the cake, by the way. I'm sure he didn't do that to be mean, to say, "Oh, this cake is about me." But let me tell you, the reaction from the finger that she had was a method of control. Okay? That was her way of saying, I had this envisioned in my head that we would be eating this cake together in the specific way that I wanted. And you ruined that by tasting it first. That is controlling, guys. It doesn't matter how you put it. It really doesn't. Um, Now let's talk about him. As a man, you are supposed to nip this thing in the bud early. It is your fault for letting this go on as long as it has. I don't know how long they've been together. I know nothing about this couple. I'm just going off of what I'm looking at. Sir, it is your job to make sure from the very beginning that she respects you in the way that you expect her to. It is your job to ensure that at the end of the day, you're not going against your better judgment for the sake of peace in your relationship, because that's where a lot of men go wrong, okay? By allowing things to continue on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, you have a reaction like this where you're throwing the cake at the wedding. And now everyone's going to look at you like you're the bad guy, all because you couldn't man up and say what you wanted to say from the very beginning, all because you wanted peace in the relationship. Or you probably just wanted her to shut up. You probably just wanted some sex or whatever. And now you're seeing that it's no longer worth your sanity, you know? So it's your fault. As a man, you are supposed to be the leader. You are supposed to be the head of the household. So therefore, you set the tone for the relationship. Obviously, you have allowed her to disrespect you. You have allowed her to come at you in certain ways. And it's honestly on you at the end of the day. I mean, God told Adam not to eat the fruit, not Eve. The moment everything changed was when Adam ate the fruit. He was given the commandment. And then when he did that, God said, Adam, where are you? Not where's Eve, not where are you guys. Adam, where are you? Where is you and your family? Because I put you in charge here. So by you allowing this, you're showing a weakness. You're showing a lack of restraint. You're showing a lack of discipline. And you should really sit with that, honestly. And I feel bad for that dog because he's like, well, my parents are fighting. What am I going to do? Who am I going to live with now? I do pray for this couple though. I hope that, they get through this. I mean, they're married now, so there's no going back. Um, biblically. But the thing is, I just really pray for this couple and that they do seek help post this event, because doing things this publicly at an event with all your friends and family when it's supposed to be a great day is going to be harder to come back from, but it is doable. If you're willing to put in the work, put your ego aside, put your pride aside, and do the work to actually make sure that you guys are on the same page from now on. So I really hope things work out, because it kind of sucks that this even happened, But hey, we're human. Sometimes we let things go too far sometimes, and that's okay. We just have to figure out where we're at currently and move forward from there. Seek God, seek prayer, Continue to, talk to each other, communicate, and understand each other effectively. And yeah, that's all you really can do. And I pray for the best outcome with this situation because that cake looked really good.